Hello friends, welcome to Programming Concepts. My name is Amit and this is part 12 of our What's New in .NET 7 and C Sharp 11 series. In today's video, we are diving into another new feature in C Sharp 11 called generic math. We covered generic attributes in our last video, so I would recommend you to watch that video before proceeding to this one. If you want to learn .NET Core from scratch, you can watch our dedicated playlist created for that purpose. I will share the link in the description. Alright, first let's see what Microsoft has to say about it. So, as per Microsoft, .NET 7 introduces new math-related generic interfaces to the base class library. The availability of these interfaces means you can constrain a type parameter of a generic type or method to be number-like. In addition, C# 11 and later lets you define static virtual interface members. Because operators must be declared as static, this new C# features allows operators to be declared in a new interfaces for number-like types. Together, these innovations allow you to perform mathematical operations generically, that is, without having to know the exact type you are working with. It's simple. If you are dealing with math-related operations, we can use generic types, which were not available with .NET 6 or C# 10. Let's go to Visual Studio. Here I already created a .NET 6 console application. So there was no concept of generic math before C# 11, but obviously there is workaround that developers use. Let's take a super simple example of adding two numbers. So I have already created class called generic math demo. The first method is the addition of two integers. So let's type public static int add int x comma int y, return x plus y. Just copy and paste and replace int with double. So the return type will be double and the parameters will also be of type double. Now, if you need to add support for, let's say, float or decimal, you have to add two more methods, which is a limitation from Microsoft side. To overcome such issues, Microsoft came up with generic math. Let's comment out these methods and create a new generic method. So type public static t, add t, then the parameter will be t left, t right, and return left plus right. Now we have an error. Operator plus cannot be applied to operands of type t and t. Since we are still using .NET 6, the workaround before C# 11 is to use the dynamic keyword to overcome this problem. So type dynamic x is equal to left, dynamic y is equal to right, and then return x plus y. Simple. And this code is kind of generic and will work in .NET 6 as well. Let's confirm that. So in the program.cs class, write console.writeLine, generic math demo.add, type int 3, 4. This will work for integer. Let's take another example for double. So console.writeLine, generic math demo.add double. Let's say 3, 5, 4.2. And that's it. Let's run the program. And you can see we have the desired output. This works great because we use simple types like int and double. But what if we try to add complex type like class or struct that doesn't support addition? Let's say we have an employee class. So type public class employee. And then a property, let's say public string name, getter and setter accessor. Now, let's try to call the add method for objects of this class. So type console.writeLine, generic math demo.add, type will be employee, then pass empty object, so new employee comma new employee. You can see there is no compile time error. Let's see what will happen when we run this program. So let's run this program. And we have an error. Operator plus cannot be applied to operands of type employee and employer. So prior to C# 11, we could create generic methods, but we could not restrict them to numbers only. Let's see how to create this generic method that works only with numbers. We don't have to do much. Let's change the project file and set target framework to .NET 7. And just append where clause in the add method. So public static t at t left t right where t colon I number t. And that's it. Now this method only supports number and will throw compilation error if we try to use any other type. Let's get rid of the dynamic approach as well and return left plus right instead of x plus y. Let's go to the program.cs class and you can see we have a compile time error. The type employee cannot be used as a type parameter t in the generic typer method generic math demo.add t comma t. There is no implicit reference conversion from employee to I number. Simple, extremely simple. Now, what if I want to use add method for my complex type like our employee class in this case? That we will learn in our next video. So that's it from this video. I hope you liked our content. If you have any queries related to the content of this video, feel free to ask me in the comments. Thank you for watching.